All right, so let's do a recap of last week's trades from the top down. I believe so. Last week, today is January 4th. Last week was a holiday week because of New Year's and the holiday festivities, etc. But I still was able to take two NQ trades and a few bigger crypto trades. But we're just going to go over NQ and break it down real quick. So let's start where we're at right now. Let's zoom out. So what I like to do is take a top-down approach. Pretty common, standard stuff. I really like using weekly opens. Weekly or just level opens in general, but the higher time frame, the better. Right, so we had a weekly open here. We have another one here for this week. But this was last week's weekly open. We tried to come up here. We took out the previous week's weekly open. You see that? It was like a sweep of liquidity. And you come back down, we closed about here. So I'm interested in this weekly open because this is what I traded this week. If we go to the daily, we also had this daily level here untapped, right? You got a candle close, the daily open. And this is kind of similar to an order block, but it's a lot more precise than order blocks. We have another untapped daily up here, and you know, ICT traders would draw this out and call it an order block. I'm just marking the closes of the untapped opens, right? That's what I'm interested in. Here at all-time high, we have another one, but I'm not going to mark it out. I'm not very interested. Let's just go back to what I took last week. And if I pull up the Discord here, I'll show you guys. So if we pull up the Discord, I was in this long here. It was super slow of a session, but this was on the 2nd, so a couple days ago. I took this long because we had swept liquidity. So if I find it, this was on Thursday, right? So let's pull it up. Let's zoom in. This was the weekly. It's already untapped. It's already tapped. Right, this was the weekly. No, this was not the weekly. This was the weekly. This was a daily. And this is another daily, which doesn't matter right now, but I'm just going to mark it out anyway. So let's go to Thursday. Right. So Thursday, I was looking at this high time frame liquidity. This liquidity was key for me. So I trade liquidity a lot, right? The market moves based off of liquidity. Where is it? It always is trying to seek it. And as you can see here, we put in some sort of SFP. So this was the level that I was interested in, right? And what gave me more confluence is my fib levels. I use something called deviation Fibonacci extensions. I'm constantly looking for deviation from the current range. And last week, we put in this low on Thursday, right after midnight. So it would be around London, if not London session. Right, so I was interested in pulling my fibs from this low to this high and trying to find a deviation throughout the day. And that's exactly what we got after or during New York. It was super slow because obviously holiday week, lower volume, etc. But we ended up getting this deviation pocket coupled with the liquidity grab, and that was a cue for me to long. So as I showed in the Discord screenshot, I took a long somewhere around here. Whoops, that is not what I wanted. Took a long somewhere around here. Obviously, I was on the 5 minute, super low time frame, but I entered somewhere around here because we got a super quick liquidity grab. Like you see here, price just impulse down straight through the range low here and went straight for this liquidity. As soon as it grabbed it, you got a reaction higher, and then here we just started consolidating. And at this point, I was looking for, well, I had already entered. Based off of this price movement and the 5 minute closes above, I had confirmation, okay, I'm going to enter. I moved my stop, you know, I max, I want to do like 50 points of risk. According to my risk reward system, about 50 points of risk is like the most I want to do. So if I look back at that screenshot I was just showing, I was at about, let me pull this over again. Entered at about 21,057. So around here, which is kind of not the best entry, you know, given that we had all this price movement after, and I just was sitting in drawdown for a long time. But my stop was around 50 points from there, so like right below the low, right? And basically I was just sitting in this for forever. And honestly, actually this was a little lower. I think it was, I don't know, somewhere around there. But I was waiting for this price to just sweep the low one more time before moving up higher. But as you can see, we did not get that. It might have swept it again on ES, but I wasn't too concerned. I stayed in this trade because a lot of times, especially on low volume days, like when it's a holiday, you're going to get low volume and your trade could still play out. It's just going to take a lot longer, and that's the painful part. But I ended up sticking it through. You know, my target was, well, because it was low volume, I was just going for like the 0.5 or something like that, or at least a 1-to-1. So like around here. And I think that's exactly what I ended up getting, because market closes at, well, for prop firms, which is what I'm using, they close out your trades at 1 p.m. So for me, it closed somewhere around here, where I got a 1-to-1 trade. So not bad, but it's not exactly what I wanted, because if I was able to stay in the trade for a swing trade, you obviously want to target the other side of the range, which it already has hit the other side of the range. It didn't quite hit the extension, but it almost tapped this weekly here. So I was looking for, you know, if I could swing it, if I wasn't using prop firms, I would still be in this long, right? And this is a 6R at least, or at least target this weekly and get a 5.5R, right? But playing with prop firms, you got to play by their rules, etc. So got a 1-to-1, pretty good, solid trade. It just took a while. I was sitting in drawdown, kind of mid because of that, but overall not too bad. I'll leave the long position put there. So this is what I ended up closing at for the day. So 1-to-1, not bad. Liquidity grab. You also could have gotten in on a retest. So, but it wasn't too solid, to be honest. I'll leave that trade there. Got a deviation, right? This is the deviation zone. Sweeps out a lot of late longers. Late longers is what we call them. So in this low time frame range, buyers are stacking up orders, right? They're buying all through here, and they're putting their stops below the low down here. And also, if you zoom out, higher time frame range, this is the low. So when people are buying, whoever's buying in this market, in this huge range here, they're putting their stops below this low, right? They're doing something like this, right? If I bought here, for example, I'm going to put my stop here, and I want to target all-time highs, whatever else. So what price does is it comes in and sweeps these people out, completely stops them out, right? Because there's a lot of orders here. That's what liquidity is. There's just stacked orders that you can't see, but they're there, right? So that's what price did here. It took out a lot of longs and it gave it fuel to come up, right? And I have levels even lower here, but I won't go through that. I'm just doing recaps. But yeah, this short-term range on Thursday formed, and it gave us a proper opportunity to find a deviation opportunity for the sweep of this liquidity here, because we paired them up, right? But yeah, my TP levels are usually, my take profit TP levels are usually like key levels, monthly opens. I like VWAPs a lot. For VWAP, I'd have to pull up the daily VWAP because during the intraday sessions, that's what I'm going off of. So also a good confirmation for me was that VWAP was right here. So I would have taken taken profit there anyway. It was a 1-to-1 and VWAP is there. So I would have taken some off the table already and left the rest to run for the next take profit level. But obviously we know the session closed already. But yeah, that's a summary of Thursday's trade. 1-to-1 could have been better. And then I believe on the 30th, I took another one, and this one was super, super clean. So let's go over that one. I'll pull it up from the Discord screenshots real quick. Yeah, so here, the 29th, I sent these levels, right? Pretty much every night before I'm going to trade, I look and try to mark out, okay, where is the market most likely to move on the higher time frame? And usually higher time frame for me is the H1 and the H4, okay? That's what I'm looking at. So for me, I saw, okay, we could either come up to this golden pocket and this stacked point of control volume, retest it before going lower, because we're also sweeping this liquidity right here and going lower and taking out liquidity, or we could bounce on this untapped daily or the monthly open. So I'm looking at these 3 different levels depending on what price does, because sorry about that, I had an audio issue, but we're back. As I was saying, as traders, we don't know 100% where price is going, right? So we have to make multiple scenarios in our mind. Like, if price goes here, then what? If price goes here, then what, right? So we have to plan this out ahead of time so we're ready when things happen, right? Like, for example, like here, like I do this every single night, and I recommend you guys do something similar where you look at the market on a higher time frame and you ask yourself, okay, where is this most likely heading? Which point of liquidity is the market most likely to get next, right? So when the market is moving intraday, you have plans for every scenario. So if you thought price was going to go lower, but it actually didn't end up going lower, it ends up just continuing higher like this, you have a scenario for that as well, for a nice short or whatever it is, right? Like, you want to be prepared in every scenario. So yeah, going back into this trade. So here, I marked out these levels ahead of time the night before, as I just showed, and also 2 other levels, but this one was the one that gave me a reaction. So before entering, I waited for confirmation, right? And I'm looking at the 5-minute chart intraday. Okay. So what I was looking for is something like this on the 5-minute chart, and it played out perfectly. So we got a sweep of the monthly open again, barely front ran, I guess you could say, the 786 level, and we immediately started reversing. We got a really quick wick, and then closes starting to happen above the monthly open on the 5-minute chart, and I was just waiting, right? I was waiting for a clean retest because this, when price nuked again through here, I didn't really like that. I didn't really like how deep that retracement was. If I pull it from here to here, let me turn off the magnet and show you guys what I'm talking about. We pull it from here to here. Price went all the way through the 786 and even tapped the 886 down here. But I wasn't super interested in that. Although looking back in hindsight, obviously that's a good entry. But I was looking for more of a uptrend starting to form. So I waited a little longer. And at this point, I was at around here at 10:50 New York time when I pulled, okay, my golden pocket from the low to the nearest high. And on the 1 minute, where am I here? On the 1 minute, you can see we got a perfect retest of the 61866 golden pocket. So this is where I longed. I did this live in the Discord, right? This is where I longed. I put my stop below the low right here. And now I'm targeting much higher prices, right? If we zoom out, the reason I chose this level to take profit is because I remember there was a golden pocket here. There was a golden pocket here where price came right into it and rejected there again. Could not have been more perfect. Golden pocket to golden pocket. Not only that, if we go to the weekly chart, we had a weekly level right here. We had that weekly level, I believe. Or maybe it was a daily. I think it was a daily level, if I remember correctly. No, it was definitely a weekly. You had this weekly level. This is what it was. This weekly open right here. So yeah, okay. I just couldn't find it for a second. This is exactly what I was looking for my profit target. So I targeted this weekly plus golden pocket level. And if we go back to the 5-minute, it played out absolutely perfectly. We got the perfect entry, 0 drawdown, and it went straight to our target, right? And I'm not saying I didn't take profit along the way, because I did. I took profit at VWAP. So I remember there was this liquidity here that I was looking at for TP1, and it perfectly aligned with the daily VWAP at the time. Let me turn off the weekly. So I'm looking at the daily VWAP. So these two confluences, I took profit here. That was my first TP level, and what, that was like a 2.5 R? Yeah, just about. And the rest was a 5.3-ish R in one session. Like, that's crazy. So that was a perfect trade because I got 0 drawdown, etc. But that's what we want to see on these liquidity grabs, right? All these orders are getting stacked, and the market pushes into them aggressively, and you want to see a reversal, right? You want to catch the reversal on that. So yeah, those were my 2 trades that I took this week on holiday week. I hope this was helpful in any way, shape, or form. Maybe your strategy is different and this helped you look at a new perspective to see the market, or that entry or confirmation, You may have picked up something from that. But either way, this helps me just kind of do recap for myself on a weekly basis. I think I'll be doing this, just recapping my trades for the week on futures. You know, I do have some crypto trades as well, but I'm going to stick to making just recaps on futures because I think that is way more consistent. So yeah, with that, I'll drop another video next week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you. Bye.